Conrads. Every day we wake up to news of the US and Israeli war against Iran and its humanitarian, economic, and financial consequences, which generate tragedies and human suffering and impose instability in all supply market, the international financial system, and the prices of essential goods. The current US government and its unconditional ally, Israel, are responsible for this situation. The arrogant and imperialistic actions of the Trump administration are leading the world toward greater instability and insecurity. International law and the principles contained in the United Nations chapter, such as sovereignty, independence, self-determination, and respect for the territorial integrity of nations, are being violated with impunity. The United Nations systems and its role as guarantor of world peace are being deliberately weakened. The hegemonic ambitions of the United States find fertilized grounds in the complicit silence of some and the fear of others. We have learned that yesterday it was Palestine, this genocide committed with these heroic people. Later, Venezuela, with these illegal military aggressions and the kidnapping of the president, legal and legitimate president Nicolas Maduro and his wife Celia Flores. Now is Iran, with this also unilateral and illegal military aggression. Tomorrow, well, they announced that will be Cuba. And after that, another and another one. Any who poses a threat to their ambitions of controlling our strategic resources or even our minds. With the attempt to impose their world domination, something Hitler, remember, one aspired to, we already know the consequence. To reach this purpose, sinister figures have occupied the US government today. A president with a history of pedophilia, with several court cases involving rape and sexual assaults, tax evasion, among other offenses. He is accompanied by millionaires, owners of large financial and media conglomerates and social platforms, gangsters linked to drugs trafficking, terrorism, and extreme right groups like his Secretary of State. They all profit and earn billions of dollars from the suffering cost to their criminal actions. There are no values or principles. There is no decency. There is not humanity, only ambition of power, money, and fame. Cuba has called for unity within the international community to halt this dictatorial drift that is being imposed on the world. Neutrality and passivity are not possible. There is not an option. No one is safe today in the world. Yesterday, once again, the President of the United States threatened Cuba with military actions. My friend, we take this scenario very seriously in Cuba, and we have been preparing for it, not just right now, not yesterday, for more than 65 years. Remember that this year we are celebrating the 65th anniversary of Playa Girón victory against the US aggression. And from that time, we are preparing every day in order to save and to defend our sacred land. Since last December, the United States, through military actions in the Caribbean and subsequently with the illegal military aggression to Venezuela and the executive order signed last January 29th, has unilaterally and illegally imposed a blockade to all supply to Cuba. For 4 months, right now, Cuba has not received a single drop of oil, which is affecting all sectors of our country's economic and social life. More than 100,000 medical surgeries postponed, cancer patients without receiving their treatments, serious disruptions of the supply of electricity and water, disruption to education, transportation, communications, food production, among many others. We are living through very difficult times, which affect the most vulnerable, the sick and elderly people, the children, the pregnant women, everybody. The economic, commercial, and financial blockade is totally unjust. It's a crime. It's a genocide and deserves international condemnation. We must create a movement to reject all policies of unilateral blockade and sanctions and the threats of military aggression or war to any country. Cuba cannot be taken. Trump said, I will take Cuba. Cuba cannot be taken, believe me. Cuba is not a piece of cake. Cuba is a sovereign country, very proud of our history, our independence, and our heroes. Yesterday, our president made an interview to the Mexican media La Jornada. He said, in 1953, the generation of the centennial of Jose Marti, our national hero, they took the responsibility to make the assault or to assault the Moncada barrack. It was in July 26, 1953. This year is the birth centenary of Fidel Castro. And this generation has a responsibility to keep the flag of the idea of Fidel Castro very high. And we are going to do every day, resisting, but also fighting and also assuring the victory over the imperialism. Our government has expressed its willingness to engage in a dialogue, in mutual respect, of course, on the rule or on the base of respecting our independence and sovereignty. But we can discuss many issues in order to achieve some agreements, because we are neighbors. We are living 90 miles each other. We can cooperate combating trafficking in drugs, trafficking in person, money laundering, and many other issues. We can cooperate, but should be on the basis to respect that only the Cuban people has the right to decide which political system we are going to have in Cuba, which government and who is going to lead our government in Cuba. No other way. At the same time, there is an attempt to impose the narrative that Cuba is collapsing, that Cuba is a failed state. But thanks to the socialist system and the consciousness on high resilience of our people, Cuba resists and fights. We have managed to produce domestic oil that allowed us to supply the thermoelectric plants and generate moreover 20% of our electricity demand. Thanks to the installation last year of over 1,000 megawatts of solar panels, another 50% of electricity generation can be supplied through the renewable resources. Cuba lives and works to move forward, even in these current complex circumstances, our country. We cannot the imperialism to fulfill their ambitions, to impose war, destructions, and suffering on a people who have shown hope and solidarity in many corners of the world. It is time to rise up for Cuba. Last week, more than 600 people, mainly from America, from Latin America, and from Europe, visited Cuba. They brought to Cuba many solar panels, medicines, and also medical equipment in order to support Cuba. Cuba is not alone. And this solidarity meeting against the imperialist aggression, including in favor or in solidarity with Venezuela, Palestine, also Iran, and Cuba, is a real expression of that Cuba is not alone, that Venezuela, that Palestine, Iran are not alone. The people of our countries have millions of people in the world that are totally committed to express their solidarity and to reject the US aggressions against our people. Let Cuba live in peace. Hands off Cuba. Drop the blockade. Cuba will prevail. Thank you so much.